Good evening, everybody. I'm so delighted that so many of you are able to join us as we cross over live to Uganda this evening to meet the inspiring young Stephen, who so many of you have heard so much about. It's such a beautiful occasion. So thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I'm also really excited to introduce you to a few School for Life staff members that we have on our call this evening. So I'm just going to call everybody out, and please feel free to unmute or give us a wave from both Australia and Uganda. So we've got Jess, Ruby, Sani, Joe, and Josephine from Australia. And then over in Uganda, we're joined by Charlotte, Julius, Brenda, Fred, Jennifer, Joseph B, and Joseph Kabunga. Welcome, team. It's so beautiful to have everybody here tonight. And these guys are the real engine room of what School for Life's all about. So it's a beautiful opportunity to introduce you guys to the School for Life family. Now, before we begin this evening, just a little bit of housekeeping. Up on the top right of your screen, you'll see a view button. You can choose to view the speaker, or you can choose to view gallery. If you go to gallery, that will show you each and everybody that's got their videos turned on this evening, or alternatively, you can make the main screen on the speaker who's speaking this evening. Down the bottom of your screen, you'll see the mute button. So we're just asking that everybody keeps themselves muted just for the meantime. And you'll also see your option to turn your video on or off. So you can keep your video on or off depending on how you'd like to run this evening. Obviously, love to see your beautiful smiling faces from wherever you're dialing in from tonight. Now, it gives me really great pleasure this evening to introduce you to our country director who recently joined us about 6 months ago. Her name's Charlotte, and she's going to share with you an update from what's been happening on the ground and tell us a little bit about herself. So thanks so much, Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Annabelle. Good evening, everybody in Australia. Good afternoon, everybody in Uganda. And from everywhere across the world. I can see somebody dialing in from Cambodia. Like Annabelle said, my name is Charlotte Oloya, and I am very, very delighted to have been working with a School for Life for the past 6 months. I come from a background of, I'm a lawyer by profession, but I'm very, very passionate about education. I'm very passionate about, helping those that I need, helping those that need a hand up in life to support them to get to where they are today. I sit here today because I was fortunate enough that my father got an education, and so we see that education has transformed a generation for us, his children. His parents before him obviously didn't have an education. My mother herself did not have an education, but I'm fortunate to be seated here because I've seen the power of education, the power of a good education. And so as I work with School for Life, the vision and mission just resound with who I am, and the values of my own values and the values of the organization. And just to see that, as we transform generations in MPG and across Katuso and the areas that we work in, we're not just transforming a few people, we're transforming generations and transforming the country at large. And so, very excited to be working with School for Life over the past 6 months. But that's enough about me. So over the past 6 months, as we came in and as we with COVID-19 and the pandemic and how it has ravaged across the country, across the world, but even in Uganda, we noted that we would have a start-stop in terms of education for our children, but we're very excited when the government opened up the schools and our children able to come back into school. But we also noted that even when they are still in school, we would like for them to get skills alongside a formal education that they get from the classroom. And so over the course of the past 6 months, together with a few partners, we've been working to skill our children. We have 39 amazing young boys and girls from the school that Joseph Kabunga, our head teacher at Katuso, is in. They just completed their primary living exam, which is the it's the final exam when they are about 14, 15, 12, primary 7. So they've just completed it, and we felt we needed to give them skills that they can use during the holiday to keep them engaged, to keep them to get hands-on skills, make some money, supporting the home. And when they come back to school and start secondary, they have something, not just a formal education, but something that can keep them going when they are, when they're at home. And so 39 of these young boys and girls were engaged in baking. They learned how to bake using the resources that are around them. So not, the high-level ovens, but firewood and large saucepans in their compounds, so that they can know that they can use the skills, they can use what they have within their communities. They can use what they have around them to make some cakes. They've also been able to make what here we call Chinese noodles and another thing that we call daddies. And we have a girl right now, a few students who are already using these skills. One of our students is already in the community in her father's shop. She has her merchandise in the shop. She's selling, she's making her money as she prepares to come to school, to secondary school in Mbazi. So it's very exciting to see that our children are using this time, they're using their long vacation to make some good use of the skills that they've received. We've also been able to put a few of our children through the very prestigious Duke of Edinburgh program. So this program will help to build their confidence and resilience and help them to take on challenges, the challenges that we all know that in the world there will always be challenges, they'll always come. So the Duke of Edinburgh program, which we've also introduced for the children at Mbazi Secondary School, is also supporting them to change the way they look at life, to change the way they engage with the community, to change the way they look at themselves and develop their confidence and their critical thinking skills. We've also engaged them in Scouting and Girl Guides. I don't know how many of you engaged as Scouts and Girl Guides when you were in school. I did myself as a Girl Guide. I loved to wear the blue uniform and the tie. I now forget what the name was, and to salute. And also we find our children are also very excited about the Scouting and Girl Guides. And we know that when they do this, it's an opportunity for them to actively engage, with their personal development. It teaches them discipline. It teaches them, about discipline and having working together as a team, but also community engagement together with the rest of their students. So that is skilling. We're doing a lot more in terms of skilling with both our children and our teachers. We're not leaving our teachers behind as well. But I also wanted to talk to you about the amazing construction project that we have started for the boys' boarding. We loved it, and I hope that you were able to see when the girls came into the school and their excitement as they walked into the dormitory and the new experiences that they have when they're in a dormitory, in the dormitory setting. And so the boys, of course, cannot be left behind. When we are educating a girl, we need to ensure that the boys as well are walking alongside these girls, because these are the people they meet in the community as well. These are the people they relate with. And so, as we've started the construction of the boys' boarding, we're right now at the ring beam with the construction. The boys are also very excited. It's an opportunity for them, to get the same experience as the girls are getting right now, because the girls are in boarding. They have an opportunity after school to talk to the teachers, to ensure that they are checking on if they've not understood anything. They have that extra time with the teachers. They have the extra time in the classroom. They also have a time to socialize and be exposed to other people who have different ideas from them. And we all know that exposure is very important for you to live in this world as we think about this new world and where the world is going with lockdowns and COVID-19. We need to be exposed, and the boarding facility is an opportunity for our children to be exposed, but also for the boys not to trek long distances to catch the bus in Katuso, then come to school, when it rains and the bus breaks down and then they're not able to come to school on time. It's a great opportunity if we have them in boarding, just to get the boys and girls together and ensure that they are having the best possible education, not just in terms of formal education, but also in terms of skilling for them, and just seeing how we transform generations of community people across Katuso and Imbazi, and then across Uganda and across the world probably. Thank you very much, Annabelle. I think that will be my update from now. For now, I will hand it over back to you.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, for such passion and enthusiasm. Charlotte is one of our very many passionate team members of School for Life, and it's so beautiful to hear from you. So thank you so much for sharing an update from the ground on everything that's been happening. As you can see, the team have been working around the clock to ensure that our students are not left behind during COVID, and that we're using every opportunity that we can possibly get to ensure that our students are receiving a quality education. Now, Stephen Matevi is one of those beautiful students who we have had in our system since primary 3 in 2013, and he's one of the beneficiaries of School for Life. And the reason why we're here this evening is to meet our young man, Stephen, who is incredibly inspiring. But before we introduce him this evening, we'd like to share with you a short video which was taken a few years ago when Stephen was back in primary school, to give you a little bit of background on his upbringing and some of the challenges that he's faced over the last couple of years. And then we're going to introduce him and have a live Q&A. Thank you so much.
My name is Stephen Matevi. I live in a small village with my family. I have 3 young sisters and 1 young brother. When my mother is not home, I care for my family. I have to help at home because I'm the oldest son. Before I eat, I like to pray. It is important for me to be thankful for the things I have and the food I eat. 2 months ago, my father passed away. Life at home is different now. I miss him very much. Because I'm the happiest when I'm at school with my friends and my teachers. English is my favorite subject. It helps me to be more confident and to express myself. I want to learn everything that my teachers teach me. I know if I learn, I will have a better future. I want to learn as much as possible now so that when I grow up, I can be a teacher too. My favorite food at school is peanuts and matoke. The most important quality in life is being a good person to others. Sometimes we sing and dance and do short plays. I move my body to express how I feel. When I'm angry, I put a lot of energy into dancing. And when I'm happy, I dance and smile at the same time. I like to make sure everyone around me is happy. When I grow up, I will be a good teacher. I will help others to learn, and that will make me happy. My name is Steven, and I go to school for life.
Stephen, an incredible young man who every time I watch that video, having seen it thousands of times, still brings a huge tear to my eye. I wish tonight I could teleport each and every one of you across to Uganda to have the opportunity to meet this very special young man. But this evening, it gives me really great pleasure to introduce to you Stephen and our head teacher, Joseph Kabunga from Katuso, who's worked with us for many years and progressed from being a teacher into a head teacher with School for Life. So welcome, guys. It's so lovely to have you with us this evening.
Thank you, Annabelle. We are glad to be here as well.
It was so beautiful to see the video again, Stephen, and to see that, you know, you say that the best quality in life is being a good person, and isn't that so true? Stephen, how are you?
I'm very fine.
Yeah, can you tell us how you and your family are going?
Well, right now we are moving very well. It's not so bad because we are trying as much as possible to take care, figure out things, and so on.
Yeah, sure. Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about what you're so excited about in joining a boarding facility?
Well, I'd first to appreciate whoever has managed to join us. Uh, when I joined boarding, well, I'm excited because I have more time to read books. Access to the library will be easy, so as I can make research and complete my assignments. I can consult with my teachers on areas for improvement, and as well carry out group discussions on areas where we think we can improve with my friends. So making research is paramount when I'm in boarding. And when I'm in boarding, good meals are there, security is there. So I want to be disrupted. I will focus on my books, carry out what is possible, and they get help from my teachers when I'm in boarding because I won't spend time traveling to and from school in case when it rains. I'll spend much time reading at the bus station, and sometimes the roads are dilapidated, the dilapidated infrastructures sometimes are risky. They take much time moving to and fro. So those are some of the benefits when I joined the boarding section.
Absolutely. And Stephen, you've been playing a very big role in your family, somewhat like a father figure. How are your sisters? How are they faring?
Uh, when when I joined the boarding, well, I'm excited because we have a girls' boarding house. My sister Viola is now in boarding. My other sister Rose will join very soon in August, and the other sister Hope will join. But right now, she's staying with my auntie. So there will be protection. I'll be able to focus on my books. No things will disrupt me. So I'll be able to focus on my books and I achieve my dream.
Absolutely. And I believe you've got an even bigger dream these days than becoming a teacher. Can you share with us what that dream is, Stephen?
Well, when I was still in primary, I wished to be a teacher, but when I advanced to higher level in secondary, I say I changed that attitude to being a doctor because looking at the background from where I've grown, many people die because they lack medical attention, and that is the thing that happened to my grandmother. She died recently in 2020 because she lacked medical attention. So that drove me to being a doctor, so that I can save people's lives in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll be an incredible doctor, Stephen. So thank you for sharing with us. Joseph, it's lovely to see you. I just wanted to see, can you tell us a little bit, Joseph, about some of the challenges that Ugandan students have in accessing and receiving a quality education, particularly at high school?
Well, thank you, Annabelle. Good evening, Australia. Good evening, Uganda. Sorry, good morning, Uganda. Yes, I'm very excited to share this. Stephen, thank you very much for being a good student. There are many challenges that students face in Uganda, very many of them. And I'm glad to share with you that one of them is access to education. There are very many children that would love to go to school, but access to schools is also difficult because most of them, in where they come from, schools are very far, and it is difficult for them to move to go to school. The other thing is also disruptions, challenges, disruptions at home. You realize that at home there are quite a number of activities that children have to do. So it interferes with what they are supposed to study. At the end of the day, the children do not get enough time to read their books. So there are very many challenges at home as well. Then as children grow up, you realize that they gain some weight and then they are forced to do manual labor. At the end of the day, they cannot concentrate on studies. Rather, they go to make some money that can, at the end of the day, help them to support their family as well. Then there's difficulty to find quality teachers. Not every school has quality teachers. So that one is also a very big challenge to most children in Uganda. Then students don't have access to books because you realize here in Uganda, access to books is really very difficult. We are lucky that School for Life has been able to provide enough books that students like Mutebi can be able to access those books, which is a different case to most children in Uganda. Thank you, Annabelle.
Sure. Thank you, Joseph. Thanks for such a comprehensive overview of the many challenges that are faced. Every year that a child goes to school, it increases their earning potential by up to 10%. So education really is the gift that continues to keep on giving and creates such a ripple effect. And that's why we're so passionate about it at School for Life. I just wanted to give everybody a quick reminder that as we're doing a quick Q&A with Stephen and Joseph, please feel free to pop your questions in the chat. We do have some questions that have been posed prior, which we'll get to throughout this evening. But if you do have a question that you'd specifically like to ask either Joseph or Stephen or any member of the School for Life team, please feel free to jump into the chat box and pop it in there. Now, another one for you, Stephen. Stephen, how has education changed your life since you started at School for Life in 2012?
Education has really changed my life because when I was still young, my father died and my mother left us in the care of my elder grandmother. So looking at that, education gave me hope. At school, the teachers have helped to support my sisters and I through difficult times. At school, we are provided with food, clean water, and can visit the clinic when we are unwell. So at School for Life, access the library is easy, so as I can make research and do other important things. So looking at all that, I think I can focus on my books. Even my sisters can be able to read their books, achieve their dreams, so that I can achieve my dream as being a doctor. Because looking at the background, as I said earlier, it is really, really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Stephen. Another one for you, Joseph. How does
Yes.
boarding school provide opportunities for students like Stephen?
Thank you, Annabelle. Once again, Uganda, boarding schools in Uganda is something that is very, very, very common. However, it has opportunities to to students like Stephen. So you'll see that in boarding schools there is a safe learning environment compared to when children are home. So children like Stephen, when they go to boarding, they'll have a very secure learning environment. Then there is library. Library is like 24 hours, 24/7. So they have access to the library. They can be able to, go to the library, make research, and consult their teachers. They have enough time also to focus on their education, on their studies. Then time for co-curricular activities. Realize at home, because they are disrupted with so many activities to do, they don't have enough time to concentrate on the co-curricular activities. But at school, everything is timetabled. So there's a time to play, there's time to do everything. So it's going to provide an opportunity to Stephen to develop his talent as well. When we were sharing here, I was telling him he likes football so much, and that is going to provide an opportunity for him when he goes to boarding, because he'll have access to attend to sports. Then there's time to speak to their teachers. You realize when they are home, they are far away from their teachers. Even when they have a question to ask, it's really very difficult. They cannot. But being in boarding, they have access to their teachers all the time. Even when they need guidance, the teachers will be able to provide guidance to them. So the other thing I can't forget is feeding. Many children in Uganda do not have a chance to feed to get 3 meals a day. It's really very difficult. Some of them don't even get a meal or one a day. But at School for Life, we are very glad. Children will be provided 3 meals a day. So there will be good feeding. And at the end of the day, everything will be very well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Anna. Thank you, Joseph. Joseph, you're clearly incredibly passionate about the work that you do. What made you become a teacher?
I'm glad to share the experience that I went through when I was still a kid. My story is not really so different from Stephen's story. Just to take you through a bit, I was raised by my auntie after losing my mother when I was young. So I stayed with my stepmother for a while, and life was not okay. So I was not treated so well. My auntie picked me away, so I went to started staying with her. So life wasn't really very easy, because my aunt wasn't working and she wasn't getting money. But remember, I had to go to school. So through that, I resorted to going on street, and I started selling water. So whenever I think about that, it makes me feel sad, because I remember those days when I used to walk on the street to sell water to earn a living. And every penny that I could collect, I would take it to my auntie to have a collection of money that I would probably take to school at the end of the day. So life wasn't very easy. And I was asking myself all the time, how is my future going to be? But I was glad I had a strong auntie that she used to advise me all the time. Joseph, this is not the end of life. Let's keep working. Let's keep going. And that pushed me. So having gone through all that, looking at my aunt suffering, looking for money, doing everything for me to survive, it gave me courage. I really saw I had somebody at the back of me, and that gave me energy, to push forward. So as I went on growing, of course, life started like changing, and I was asking myself, how can I also help other children? Because it wasn't only me. I used to see other children somewhere going through worse than I went through. So I said, becoming a teacher would help me get close to children like Stephen. So I got so inspired. I said, let me join teaching, because in fact, that has drove me to many children like Stephen, and that inspires me a lot. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Joseph. It's incredible for young men like Stephen to have role models to look up to, like you, Joseph, and so many of the teachers, both male and female, that play roles not just inside the classroom every day on, sort of a 9-to-5 basis, but outside of the classroom as mentors and role models for our students to help them as they grow through life. So it's really inspiring to see. One of those incredible mentors who recently joined us is Julius, and I just wanted to introduce Julius, our Director of Education, and just see, Julius, if you'd like to share any thoughts that you might have.
Thank you, Annabelle. Good evening and good afternoon, everybody in this call. I just wanted to pick up from the discussion that's been going on, particularly with Stephen and Joseph, when it comes to the boarding facility. It's an amazing opportunity for the children to join the boarding facility, because apart from the discussion that has been going on, also look at the other aspects and skills that they learn when they are in the body. One of them is being independent by themselves and develop skills of being independent away from their parents and away from home. And life is not about being with parents forever. So for me, it's a good opportunity for them to be able to start being independent at this point in time. But also looking at the experience we've had with the girls who have experienced the boarding facility is exposure to the facilities in the boarding section where the first time the girls are able to see a shower, some of them the first time they're using a flat iron, electrical flat iron, others the first time they are seeing electricity. It's an amazing experience. And as we train these children, we're not training them for Bazi and Katuso forever. I mean, they'll be able to go out there, and some of these experiences are very good for them in life. But also, the other thing I was thinking about as Stephen was talking, the social capital that's going to be developed among the these children, when they come together as village mates, and probably they're exposed to even other children that come from other environments, will kind of create a kind of a social capital amongst themselves, because when all of us are no more tomorrow, these children are the ones that will be able to replace us. So it is being able to know who is who. And in the world of today, sometimes it's not about what you know, but who you know. So for me, it's a very good opportunity for them to be able to expose themselves. Children from Karamoja, children from Guru, children can meet the children of Katuso. More at the end of the day, we definitely have created a very good capital base that can be able to help them tomorrow when they grow up. That's my comment.
Thank you, Julius. It's been fantastic to have you as part of our team. Julius has been doing all sorts of different activities since he started, and a lot of professional development with our team. So it's fantastic to have you on board. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to announce tonight that we have had a very generous offer by a couple here in Australia. Having seen that we've got a $160,000 target to raise by the end of financial year, they've offered to pledge $80,000 worth of match funding. So every single dollar raised up to $80,000 will be matched to help us to finish off our boys boarding facility by the end of financial year. So really, really grateful to that incredible couple for their generosity and for standing with us as we work to change the lives and futures of so many young men and women in rural Uganda. So please, if you would like to donate or purchase a brick this evening, every brick that you buy will be 2 bricks, which will make a big difference on our construction site and help us to finish off this facility for young men like Stephen. So thank you so much. Now, I just thought we'd got quite a few questions that are popping up, which is beautiful to see. So thank you so much. We've also had a few questions that came in on registration. So I thought we'll jump straight across to the Q&A now. There's a question for you, Stephen. If you could have 3 wishes, Stephen, granted for you, what would you wish for?
Well, the first wish could be achieving my dream, because when I achieve my dream, that's when I can support my sisters, achieving that dream, then raising them such that they can also support themselves. Then the third one, when you look at the house as has been watched in the video, when you look at it, it's totally substandard as compared to other houses. So my third dream could be building a standard house and living in an enjoying environment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing with us. That's beautiful. Another question for you, Stephen, is what's your favorite subject?
Oh, well, when I was still in primary, my subject, the favorite one was English. But during secondary, the favorite one is physics.
Physics. That'll set you in good stead to become a doctor. And how about your
Yeah.
favorite sport, Stephen? Everybody wants to know what you like to play.
The favorite sport is football. Automatically, it's football as the extracurricular activity, because through football, I learn to communicate, socialize with others, and gain more skills. Yeah, communicating with others, even discussion, is more of a benefit of being a footballer. Yeah, thank
For
you.
sure. Thank you. I thought it might have been soccer. I just wasn't sure about that. Joseph, we've got a question for you as well. Joseph, what opportunities are there for students like Stephen after they finish their education?
Thank you, Annabelle. Of course, I would say 100%. Children who finish education in Uganda have the opportunity to, improve their lifestyle. Because looking at the percentage of children who do not go to school in Uganda, they are living a miserable life. So I'm glad that if Stephen continues with his dream and becomes a doctor, like he says, he's going to have to improve his life, because definitely the jobs will be there, and he'll get a job, and he will, at the end of the day will earn money that will help him to support himself and also the family as well. So there's a lot of opportunities if a child finishes school in Uganda.
Mm-hmm. And what will the process be, Joseph? We've received a question from Kylie. What will the process be for Stephen to go on to become a doctor? What will be his next steps after school?
I beg your pardon, Annabelle?
When Stephen finishes school, in order
Yes.
to be a doctor, what will his next steps be? What that he'll need to take?
Well, I think after finishing his education and is a confirmed doctor, I think it's not very difficult, because he will have to look for opportunities where there are jobs, and then he will apply, and then when he goes through, he gets a job. So here in Uganda, it's not really very difficult. However, like I can say, like he has gone through School for Life, and School for Life is now a known institution in Uganda. It's very easy to refer, like I'm coming from School for Life, and looking at the children who have gone through School for Life, the opportunities are really there.
For sure. One of the strategic priorities of School for Life over the next couple of years is to really think about how we can support our students as they go on to tertiary, because obviously it is a big step for our students to move into a city like Kampala to take on a medicine degree. So we want to be able to ensure that we can give our students pathways to be able to pursue their dreams of becoming occupations like doctors and teachers, because we know that they will go on to make such a big difference in their society.
Yeah.
And we've also had a question from Jan for you, Stephen. Stephen, are there many children in your village who are not able to attend school?
Well, looking at the village, there are very many. There are many that don't attend the school because they lack the schools there in the community are not of high standard. The school fees, their parents are not able to pay for them. The school fees is not there. So many of them are there, and they pursue to take on the manual laboring jobs so that they can earn money and at least attend education.
Yeah, for sure. One of the greatest challenges we face, Jan, is actually being able to service the needs of the community. There are just so many beautiful children who want an opportunity to go to school. So we try and do whatever we can to enroll as many students as we can on an annual basis to ensure that we're making as big a difference as we possibly can. But it is a constant challenge. This is a question from Cassandra for both of you, both Joseph and Stephen.
Yes.
Is there a particular quote or prayer that you found helpful when you're overcoming challenges, or when you've found yourself in a very tough time in your life?
Well, to start with me, I just shared with you my background. Like I said, it wasn't really okay, and there's that time when we got into difficult situations, and then I remember my aunt used to call me, and because she used to see me miserable and crying at some point, and then she used to call me and say, Joseph, everything is fine, and because my auntie, by then she was a catechist. She was in the Catholic Church. So she used to call me, and we knelt down, and we said a prayer for a few minutes. And after the prayer, everything, I felt like, life is getting back into normal. So I not specifically say this kind of prayer, but we used to say quite a number of prayers, and that used to comfort me and bring me back.
Well,
how about you, Stephen?
Looking at my background, before my grandmother passed away, we could go through difficult times. When we go through difficult times before she passed away, she could tell us, "Don't lose focus," because she would give us examples of those people who went through the same situation like us. So we could also attach ourselves to God, say a short prayer, and things move on.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's fantastic. You must miss your grandmother very much, Stephen.
Yeah, I know you miss.
Yeah. Now, we also have a question for you, Stephen. How long does it take you to get to school when you're not in boarding?
Well, moving from home at the bus station, I use like let's say 25 minutes, and traveling from the bus station to school for life, it takes like approximately half an hour.
Half an
Yeah,
hour. So it's about an hour to get to school by the time you catch the bus.
and that is if it does not rain, because if it rains, we take like 45 minutes just
Yeah, for
traveling.
sure. To give Michelle a little bit of context, Stephen lives in Katuso village, which is about, he must come to Katuso every day to meet for the school bus, which School for Life runs between the Katuso and the Mbazi sites. One of the challenges that we face is that, you know, the cost of running vehicles is quite high and the state of the roads in Uganda is very poor. So if there's a heavy rainfall, it's very difficult for us to move our students between campuses, but it's also a very big time, you know, investment for students to travel between the school sites each day. So one of the strategic reasons for ensuring that our kids can come into boarding is both one, to save costs on vehicles and fuel, but also to increase the educational outcomes for them by saving them so much time during the day, up to 2 hours in transit every day to get to and from school. Another one for you, Joseph, from Amelie.
Yes.
What initiatives are you hoping to see happen at the school next? What are you looking forward to in terms of the futures for the schools?
Pardon, Annabelle, unfortunately, I can't hear you very well.
Sorry, Joseph. What are you most looking forward to in terms of the future for the schools?
Well, when I draw a picture in the future, I see everything is really bright. Looking from the first time I joined School for Life in 2014, things have gone on changing day by day. So looking at the speed at how things have been changing and how many lives have been touched, I see it's going to be very, very, very okay. And drawing a picture, I would say it's going to be brighter than the way it is, because every day you see a change, and which change impacts a life of a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Joseph. Stephen, another one for you. What do you do on the weekends?
Well, when I return back during the weekend, I have to go to the garden, dig, and see that we get food that we can eat. Even fetch water, do domestic work, wash clothes, iron, and of course, I can't go to school when I don't iron. Then others, their clothes are smart, they are dressed properly. Then mine is odd man out. So I have to do the ironing, even sweeping the compound, cleaning, yeah, and cooking, sometimes cooking and fetching water to sustain the home.
Sounds like you have a very busy weekend, Stephen, and it's good to see you taking
Yeah.
pride in your school uniform. What are you looking forward to doing the most once you've finished school, Stephen?
I beg your pardon?
Jason has a question for you. He said, what are you looking forward to doing the most once you have finished school?
Well, if I finish the school, of course, and have achieved my dream, I have to look for opportunities where I can earn money, earn a living, and sustain. Even supporting my sisters, raising them, such that can also achieve their dreams.
Absolutely. And one more, Stephen, I know you're getting a lot of questions here, but you're doing such a
Okay.
fantastic job. Everybody wants to hear so much from you. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Well, since I'm most likely to eat, I prefer eating rice to other kinds of food. So that's my favorite dish to cook.
Okay, and Anton here in Australia was hoping you could show him how to cook some rice sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we do a virtual rice cooking event.
Yeah,
For sure. Um, just wrapping up now, really, because I think we've only got another couple of minutes, but everybody can feel free to stay on if there's more questions. There's a question from Vicky asking if Stephen will be a weekly boarder or full-time. We will be doing full-time boarding during the term. So the students will come in and they will have an opportunity to see their parents and guardians throughout the term on visitation days. But then they go home during the school holidays. And this is partially just to keep the students safe and secure, particularly during COVID. We need to make sure that we're really looking after the students' health. But also in Uganda, it's most customary for students to go to school for an entire term before they go home to the village on their holidays. We have one more question for you, Stephen, and then we promise we won't harass you anymore. Stephen, what is your favourite sporting team?
Well, my favorite sport is football, because in football you learn to socialize, make friends, the way you communicate, share with others, and even discuss on how you can improve. Yeah, that's make football my favorite sport.
And do you have a team you like to go for or you like to watch? Arsenal or Man U, anyone like that?
Well, I don't get access to watching football, but I like it. Well, because most especially watching football is always at night, and I don't like moving at night for safety. So I'm always at home, and when I go to school, I can join with my friends, have football, and have fun.
Thank you. Stephen and Joseph, thank you so much. It's just been so inspiring to have an opportunity to chat with you this evening. And to everybody here this evening, thank you so much for joining us. To the incredibly generous couple who have offered to match every donation up to $80,000. That just means so much to School for Life. Honestly, it's going to be transformational for young men like Stephen and give them such a big opportunity to change their life and the course of their future. So thank you everyone for being a part of the School for Life community. If you could share our Buy a Brick information with anybody within your network who would be interested in supporting, we'd be very, very humbled and grateful. Thank you for joining us this evening, for being a part of something so much bigger than yourself and something so special. Together, we're changing literally thousands of lives, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. So thank you so much and have a lovely night.